Just as I predicted a few months ago, the crackdown on video games has started. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario!
Woohoo! Let's go!
Alright, so before I get into this, let me just give you a quick reminder that you can listen to the podcast in the iHeartRadio app, on iTunes, on Spotify. You can watch the live, not live video, but you can watch the video on YouTube. You can watch it everywhere, man. You can listen to it everywhere. Everywhere. I'm freaking everywhere, man. I spread like a disease. And I probably shouldn't have made that comparison, but it's too late now. The words already left my mouth. You can also find me on Facebook, Super Dario World, on Instagram, Super Dario World, which is very annoying to say. But yeah, you can find it there. Any comments, questions, or suggestions. I'm also almost finished setting up my whole streaming thing, my in-home studio. I'm very excited for it. I get the mic today. I get a few memory sticks. I had to get a few cables. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be able to finally do this from home. I may still record the podcast from here, but if there's a possibility of me doing this in a live stream and it'll be shorter and I won't have to edit and I won't have to do a whole bunch of stuff, I'm freaking taking it, man. I'm freaking taking it because this burns up a lot of my day. And if I can stream it up, then I will be able to do the English podcast. I'll be able to do the Spanish podcast. I'll be able to do everything. And I'll also be able to game. I'll be the first few videos, I hated the quality of the audio. Hated it. It was disgustingly bad. And then because it came from my headset, which is okay for gaming, but it's not, let's just say, it was a little embarrassing. So now I'm going to have a nice little mic. I'm going to have a nice little camera. So hopefully it'll enhance the experience for you. And I also found a way to stream on Mixer and Twitch at the same time. I've been working hard, man. I've been investing in this. I've been investing in this time, effort, equipment. So hopefully it works out. And hopefully the quality of the product is good. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I also got some good news, bad news. Good news. At first I was very worried. Next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend, I'm going to a wedding down in Mexico. I'm going to be gone for the weekend. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing episodes. I'm not sure if I'm going to be skipping the Game of Thrones rewrite that day because I'm missing a Monday. I'm not sure. I'll try to pre-record stuff, but I don't know yet what I'm going to do. But, I already have my equipment, so I might just take it with me and record, live on location. Who knows? The possibilities are endless right now. I'm very pumped right now. I just took like a really, 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 really strong coffee. They gave us coffee here. I don't usually drink coffee. I do it like once or twice a week, basically for my health. Because I read an article one day I read a study that basically says that if you drink coffee, it reduces your chances. In a moderate amount, because a lot of coffee is bad for you. But if you drink a little bit of coffee, it reduces your chances of getting dementia when you're older by like 90%. And there's dementia in my family. So it's like, all right, okay, you know what? Maybe it's a good idea to drink that at least once or twice a week. It's also really good for your liver. I discovered that one because I had a thing with my liver once where it got swollen. Don't know why, but it got swollen. It sucks, man. You couldn't even laugh. I couldn't even giggle. I couldn't even do like a huh without it feeling like somebody was punching me or stabbing me in the gut. It was horrible. So yeah, I try to take care of my liver a little bit and, my brain. So I drink a little bit of coffee. I don't even know what this has to do with anything. I'm a little pumped. I'm also excited about the subject. But anyway, so I'm going to be out of town. And I realized I'm flying off Thursday night. Well, like midnight between, I think it's like Friday at 1 a.m. And you know what comes out next Friday? Freaking Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I was like, no. How am I going to play it? How am I going to be? It would have been perfect, for when I'm on the flight, for when I'm just killing time over there, because I'm going to be staying a few extra days because it's a dingy little town that doesn't really have like a regular amount of flights. So I was devastated. Then my light bulb went off. I was like, dude, just buy a digital download, you idiot. So I canceled. I like having physical copies. That's my thing. I'm an old school guy. I like having the physical copy. But cancel that. Got the digital download today. So now it's there. It's in my Switch. So now all I have to do is wait for it to come out. and I'm going to be able to play it, and I'm going to play it the whole freaking trip, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm excited. Very excited. The bad news is that I'm planning on hopefully finishing this setup, if not today, because I'm going to get my kid brother to help me. So I'm hoping to finish it today. But if not tomorrow, and because I don't have a second shift today and tomorrow, so I was hoping to finish it one of those days. But I thought, okay, great. It's going to be done. It's going to be set up. And what comes out tomorrow? Death Stranding. Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding. But I just got an email. Well, not just. I got an email earlier today saying, yeah, it's going to arrive on Monday. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? Why? What? Ugh. It was very infuriating. I was very upset. I'm very upset. So now I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'll just continue playing Call of Duty or Borderlands or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's very upsetting. It's very... It's not good. I'm not happy about it. By the way, if you want to follow my streaming stuff, you can find me on Mixer or Twitch as Super Dario World. Trying to keep it simple. Trying to keep it simple for everybody, and I do it in Spanish every once in a while, because somebody asked me this. It's like, would you do one or two in English, every once in a while, because we don't understand Spanish, but we think you're funny, whatever. And I was like, yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, if you write a comment while I'm playing and it's in English, I'll answer you in English. That's fine. That's cool. I was about to say I go both ways, but I'm like, I go both languages. I'm bilingual, bro. I'm international. I'm international, bro. Yeah. I also understand. Well, I'm not gonna go in there. So I was about to say something really ridiculous, but nah. I was about to make an absurd claim, because I was. I'm gonna say it. I understand other languages a little bit. I've traveled around the world. I've been lucky, and I've had very interesting experiences. And when I'm other places, I can communicate rather easily with people. But I've always said this is not really about. You have to learn a few phrases, basic stuff. Like yes, hello, thank you, no, all stuff like that. But it's more about body language. It's all about reading people, their expressions, their tone. So you can communicate with people anywhere, but without knowing their language. Because humans, most of our body language is the same. So it's just a matter of just reading each other and also expressing yourself in a way. So I've never really had an issue communicating with anybody anywhere just because of that. I have it, and plus I have a relatively good ear when it comes to languages, so I learn some words rather quickly. Even just hearing them, I couldn't say them to save my life, but I could, I pick up. Point is, again, I don't know how I got there. But we're talking international stuff, so I'm going to continue with that topic. So, a few months ago, a news article came down, and it was that the World Health Organization had officially, World Health Organization's International Classification of Diseases had officially, for the first time, classified video games as an addiction. All right? Video games as an addiction. So, I lost my mind over that piece of news, and some people were like, "Oh, you're being ridiculous. You're exaggerating. It's not a big deal." It is something that people go through. It is people that could be addicted, and it really upsets me because, and I've complained about this before. People can't see 2 steps ahead. For some reason, I don't know. People are very short-sighted, and they don't see the consequences of what they're doing. One of the big consequences of this upset me is that if you call video games a disorder, because it would be a mental disorder, which goes on par with a whole bunch of stuff. It could be regular stuff like anxiety, it could be depression, or it could be like really, 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 really dangerous stuff like being bipolar, being schizophrenic. They're all in the same boat. And if you put that on that boat, that means that there could be legal consequences to it. For example, let's say you're getting divorced. And let's say that you play video games. And let's say that your spouse says, oh yeah, that person plays video games. It's a mental disorder. He's not fit to take care of our children. It could have consequences. I know it sounds ridiculous, but these things don't happen until they happen, and they could, depending on how far you want to stretch it and how much the jury believes that this is an actual thing, because they've been hearing that it's actually a disorder. And we've heard it for years from the media. Oh yeah, video games make people violent. Video games may do this. There's no study, there's no correlation, there's nothing to actually back this up. Now, if somebody plays too many video games, that he might have an addictive personality. So there's something already underneath. it doesn't have to be video games. If you take away video games, guess what? He'll get addicted to something else. People who have addictive personalities get addicted to something else. Classic example of this, Thor. Thor from the morning show. He had a lot of drug issues, he had a lot of alcohol issues, and you take that away and he became obsessive, massively obsessive with his giants. He learned about gambling. He really got into gambling. And so people who have obsessive personalities, people who have addictive personalities, pick something and they stick to it. Now, if you're asking me, out of all these things that I've mentioned right now that you could be addicted to, I think video games is actually not a bad one, because studies have shown that it helps you with the reflex, it helps you with critical thinking, it helps you with a whole bunch of stuff. Also, done properly, it socializes you. I don't think it's that great for your eyes and or for your sleep patterns, but it's helpful in some ways. It's bad in others, helpful in others. But here's the thing, and here's the reason why I'm mentioning this, and here's the thing that I was concerned with: consequences, right? Actions have consequences. Even something as little as calling video gaming a mental disorder, that you're like, that's nothing. It's not a big deal. Consequences. Small things have real world consequences, and there's a grain of salt here, and I'll get into it, but here's the headline. China is cracking down on online gaming over fears young people are addicted. Now, the grain of salt, this is China. China's an authoritarian state. It's an authoritative. They have control of everything. The government has control of everything. You could argue it's one of the worst places in the world to live if you value certain things that I guess over there they don't. You could argue that it's one of the best places to live if you like authoritarian governments. Anyway, does it really matter? But the point is, one of the bases for making this law is, well, first off, they don't really need a basis. They could just do it anyway because, again, authoritarian countries. But one of the bases that they had is that now the international, let me get the name again, the World Health Organization's International Classification of Disease put video games as a mental disorder, right? And now they're like, oh, well, it's a disease. We need to regulate it. We need to protect our people because one stupid agency says that it's a disorder, right? Now, here's the kicker. Well, not really the kicker, but I'll just give you the information, all right? I'll just read it, all right? In an effort to curb what's believed to be a video game addiction, the Chinese government has announced new rules aimed at reducing the amount of time young people can play video games, including an imposed curfew that bans minors from playing online games between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. So minors can't play between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m., which is already BS, right? Because most of our best late-night game session, imagine you hang out with your friends and you want to do a late-night game session, you can't. Imagine you're 17. And by the way, policing this is insane, right? What are you going to do? You're going to arrest a kid? You can't. Well, I guess you can because you're China. Or what? Are you going to impose a fine on them? Are you going to impose a fine on the developers? Because they can't really control who's playing what, right? Let's say, what are you going to do it by accounts? What if I just lie on my age? You know, that whole, are you under 18 thing is the thing that everybody has always lied on every single website everywhere. I don't think anybody has ever admitted that they're not over 18. Nowhere. So this law is honestly a paper tiger, but because everybody's going to break it. And what are the consequences for it? That's the thing. That's the thing that's scary here. They don't tell you what's going to happen if you violate this law, right? They don't tell you what's going to happen if your kid uses a fake name or uses your name to open an account and, well, you're an adult and he's just playing under your name. They don't tell you these things. And what are the consequences? We don't know. But I do not trust the Chinese government with it. So, anyway, let's continue. Not only this, but those under the age of 18 will be restricted to 90 minutes of online gaming during weekdays and 3 hours per day on weekends and public holidays. The government is also introducing spending limits on online accounts depending on the player's age, with 16 to 18-year-olds able to spend up to $57 per month, whereas those aged between 8 and 16 can only put $29 into account. So first off, there's a big omission there. What happens to anybody who is under 8? I don't know. I'm guessing they can't play at all, or they can play as much as they want, or they can spend as much as they want. But spending limits. A part of me is inclined to accept this because I do feel that the video game industry, with all those microtransactions, has abused a lot of stuff. But why not just put parental controls? Why not just put... To me, honestly, this is all about parenting. Just be a good parent. Right? If you're home and your kid's playing video games at 2 a.m. on a school night, you're a bad parent. Right? My parents just used to take away the electricity cables, the AC adapter, and they're like, oh, well, you can't play anymore. I was like, all right, well, I mean, if I want to stay up, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to find something else. But they used to just take that away from me. It's not that hard. Being a parent just requires a little bit of effort. Just a little bit of effort. And if your kid's using your credit card to spend $1,000 a month on video games, again, that's a you fault. Why the hell does your kid have access to your credit card? They're children. They'll buy anything because money's not real to them. I remember when I was a kid, money wasn't real for me because I didn't make it. So I didn't care. I didn't understand what bills were. It was just an imaginary thing. It wasn't real. Kids are dumb. All right? I get that. Kids are dumb. What you need is good parents, not the government coming in and policing kids. Because you can't really do things to kids. First, if you do things to kids, that's bad. Depending on what they're going to do to them. But what are you going to do? You're going to send parents to jail? Or are you going to give them fines? What are the consequences of this? And it's not really explained, and it's really upsetting to me. But, all right. They say that they're going to restrict you to 90 minutes of online gameplay. Again, how? And why wouldn't every single person just lie about their accounts? Why? Tell me how. To me, the fact that they want to limit the spending on this, they'll limit all that stuff. It's my theory, my conspiracy theory. They want money, right? I've always said governments always want money. Well, authoritarian governments want to control the people and all that stuff. But I think that they don't like, first off, the online aspect. It's an authoritarian government. They don't like people talking to each other. They don't even have Facebook over there. It's really weird. But they don't even have Google, I don't think. Well, you know what? I've never been to China. Can't speak on that. But I've heard rumors that they have their own bingo. They have they have their own Google. They have their own Facebook. They have their own stuff. But so online gaming, people can socialize with people around the world, or at least around Asia, or out their own country. And guess what they do? Guess what kids do? They talk. And when something's BS, guess what? They talk about it. And guess what kids play with? They can play with adults. And adults can tell the kids about stuff, so they can actually help educate kids in a way. They could also teach them really bad stuff, but it could also teach them like enlightening stuff. But again, money. Who makes the majority of the video games around the world? Right? And let me I'll read you. The official government guidelines will be applied to all online gaming platforms operating in China, including the world's biggest gaming company, Tencent, which wholly or partially owns the likes of Riot Games, Epic Games, and Activision Blizzard. Now, do you know where Tencent is based on? Let's just see, because I have a guess. Tencent is a multinational conglomerate, headquarters in China. Oh, well, if they own Activision and all that stuff, I guess, because Activision is American. If I have to guess, let me see, headquarters are, California. So, I think a Chinese company bought a whole bunch of American companies, and now that's where they operate, and that's why they're the biggest gaming company in the world. I think that's how that works. So you have a company that's getting really big, that's getting really powerful, that's getting a whole lot of money. Because the gaming industry made more money in 1 year than the film, music, and what is it, and TV industries combined. Right? Gaming is huge right now, and it's getting bigger. So they want to regulate it. Things are getting big. Things are getting powerful. You want to regulate it. How do you regulate something? Take away the money. Take away the money, and that's how you regulate. They take away their power, right? That's how that works. Now, again, all these laws seem stupid to me because, all right, okay, here's how it's gonna go. If I'm going with my theories, if I have to think about this, they're saying that they're putting the rules to be applied to online gaming platforms, all right? So the rules don't really go to the people, they go to the platforms. So, platform, put these rules, put this little thing where you have to verify that you're over 18 years old, and you lie. So there's kids playing there at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Because that kid lied. So who's in violation? The company or the little kid who's a liar? Technically, the person who broke the rule is the kid. But the rule wasn't for the kid. The rule was for me. So technically I'm in fault. So the government is going to impose fines on me. I think that's how this is going to go. Again, governments always want money. They only want money and they only want to control you. And since they can't really enforce things with every single Chinese person there, because I don't know if you know this, there's kind of a lot of Chinese people and there's a lot of ways that they can go around this, they will start fining the video game company. And you know what that means? First off, it means that the company's going to make less money. If they make less money, that means they're going to make less games, or they're going to invest less in games, or they're going to invest less in the technology, which means the games will be crappier, which means that it'll take longer for them to come out, which means that every single thing takes a huge step back, all because some a-hole from the World Health Organization decided to call video games a mental disorder. Well, playing video games a mental disorder, right? Again, not thinking about the consequences of your actions or the way that the Chinese government can take advantage of it. Anyway, let's continue here. The government is also working with police to set up real name registration system, enabling gaming companies to check the identity of their users against the national database. If companies fail to supervise their players and don't meet their new requirements, they will be given a time limit to make changes and comply, or face potentially having their licenses revoked. That's actually extremely harsh, and it goes against, well, that doesn't go against the things that I said, but giving video games companies access to a national database is insane. However, back to my original point, I could just use my dad's account. Again, it sounds like every single thing here is being imposed with video game companies, not on the people. So, honestly, if this rule came down on the U.S., I'd be like, all right, with my kids, I'd be like, you can just play on my account. Just, again, it's all about being a good parent. If it's a Saturday night and my kid, my 16-year-old wants to play video games with his friends, I'll be like, sure, just use my account. I don't care. It's 11. It's a Saturday night. Go crazy. You know how many times I did that? On summer. What about summer? Right? What about winter break? I don't even know if they have that in China. What? This is stupid. All right? This is stupid. Now, speaking of the state-run Xunhua News Agency, a representative from China's General Admission of Press and Publication said that the new rules are aimed at creating a clear internet space, because that's ever going to happen, and protecting the physical and mental health of minors. Although the administration acknowledges that online games are capable of enriching the people's spiritual and cultural life, they can also cause issues that affect the physical and mental health and normal learning and life of minors. Again, this is all about parenting. If you take care of your kid, if you're supposed to watch your kid 24/7. You're the one who's raising them, right? They're your responsibility. Just be a good parent. Just be a responsible parent. And I don't understand this statement at all. Like, it's capable of enriching the spiritual and cultural life of a person, but it also affects the physical and mental health and normal learnings of minors. So it enriches you, and it also it affects your physical and mental health. Where's the line? Is the line really those 80 minutes? Is that really? Is the line 10 p.m. really? And also, people make money from esports, right? Imagine esports, right? If you're going to become a pro at anything, you have to play a lot. You have to practice, and some people have that talent. So imagine you have this kid who's a prodigy at a video game, and from a very young age, and he can't really play because there's a time limit on it, right? You can't keep playing because there's a time limit because you're a stupid little kid, and the government hates you. And so, turn that around. Turn that into an athlete. Imagine like a kid's really good at ping pong, but you're like, you can only practice 1 hour a day because law and government and because we hate you. That doesn't work. Either esports are an actual business where you start training when you're very, very young and you need time and you need to actually focus on it and practice, but you also need to know your limits. So who imposes the limits? Grown-ups do, right? The grown-ups impose the limits. So if you see your kid hasn't slept in 3 days for playing a video game, you stop him. If you see your kids spending a buttload of money on video games, well, you're the idiot because you're the one who gave him the money. Because kids don't have jobs, right? Again, all comes down to parenting. It's all comes down to parenting. And this is all stupid, and I hate it. And it worries me because there's precedent. And one government, again, the most authoritarian government on earth, already used this as an excuse. It's not going to be that long or that far off before somebody else does it to a lesser extent. They went to the extreme, right? Because they're an extreme authoritarian government. So if somebody somewhere is going to be like, maybe we could do just a little bit, and then maybe just another little bit, and maybe just another bit. And I know a lot of you are thinking, Dario, you're not a minor. Why do you care? Why do you care? Why is this important? Because it's important. I would not have liked this to have happened to me when I was a kid, right? It imposes your rights, it imposes your liberty, it imposes on your decision making. So like, I'm the one who gets to choose how much video games I want to play, or by consequence, my parents. My parents decide, right? You ain't the boss of me. My parents are, or I'm the boss of myself. And this is just such a violation, and it's so unfair, and I feel so bad for these kids, but not so much because I can see them breaking these rules. I would have broken this thing so fast. But on the other end, I also feel bad for the gaming companies because those are the ones that are going to take the fines, they're going to take the hits, they're going to lose the money, and all the video games that I like are going to, again, I'll repeat the companies that are there. Riot Games, Epic Games, Activision, Blizzard. Those are just the ones owned by that company. China is the biggest gaming market in the world, right? It's the biggest market for a lot of things, but biggest gaming market in the world. Video game companies stop making so much money. That means that they have less to invest on development of products. They have less to invest on esports. They have less to invest on a whole bunch of stuff. There's consequences. This will have consequences, and I'm not going to like when it happens. So let's see I don't know when it comes into effect yet, but I don't know. I'm just saying it's not going to be good, and I hope I'm wrong. There's certain things that I always hope that I'm wrong on. This is one of them, but I don't see it. Anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it was interesting for you. As always, any comments, questions, suggestions, you can find me on Facebook, Super Dario World, on Instagram, Super Dario _World. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again tomorrow.